Hello and welcome to ITWeb TV Live from the Security Summit 2025. I am joined now by Sebastian Erasmus, who is the Defense Engineer Lead for Snode Technologies. Sebastian, congratulations. I believe it's your birthday today.
Yes, it is.
So as a special present, as a special gift, Snode have given you the honor to come and sit in our booth and chat to everyone.
100%. Lucky me, I guess. So just a quick introduction about myself.
Cool. What is a Defense Engineer Lead?
100%. Wasn't really planning on talking about myself today, but a Defense Engineer Lead is, sum it up as a person, someone who likes to build stuff to help automate things, to lift all the hard work from people, like lifting the administrative overhead from companies. And Snode has given us that opportunity to help people, and I think that is close to the heart for everyone.
Okay.
The team, our team basically focuses on looking at problems, real world problems, and then solving them with tools and processes.
Okay, cool. So I know we're going to talk about a bit more of a technical issue today.
Yes.
So hopefully that's a bit more in your comfort zone.
Okay.
Certainly out of my comfort zone, but we'll get through it, I'm sure. Together we can do this.
Brilliant.
Right, CTEM. I know we've talked about that before in the booth. I know it's a big kind of focus for Snode.
Yes.
But for those viewers who haven't heard of CTEM before, and I think I'm smart enough, like there's not much intelligence, but I'm smart enough to remember it's continuous threats. There we go. Thank you. Evaluation. Exposure management. That's it. I wasn't smart enough.
100%.
So CTEM, tell me, you're obviously the expert, what it is, just a brief overview of what it is and what it offers and how it differs from like your traditional pen testing.
100%. I think we don't like to compare penetration tests to CTEM.
Okay.
I think in actual fact, penetration test is a component of CTEM.
Okay.
CTEM focuses on that. I think the main difference is penetration tests are seen as like a checkbox exercise. You get a fancy report and nothing is done about it. Like get the report, executives happy, performance bonuses, KPIs, all of those things match up to that. I think what we need to try and change in the industry is CTEM looks at your organization continuously, not on a monthly basis, but on a daily basis, and look at the exposures that can actually realize or materialize in an actual breach or an incident with your organization. So CTEM, I think the difference between that is it doesn't look just at an external component or the external environmental factors or assets. We actually look at the holistic view of the organization from internal to external. So the whole process for CTEM is to monitor your digital footprint. So that's phase one, identify or know what you don't know. And then attack surfaces, vulnerability scans are old school vulnerability scanners. And then from there, it's internal data hunting, looking at your environment from an internal perspective. And that really helps because a lot of the time the external pen test will just show entry points into your organization, but you never know if there's something actually still will exist in your environment, T2 servers or, remnants of ransomware attacks. And then from there, I think the main benefit of the CTEM process, as we know it, is seen as a program, is essentially it benefits your incident response procedure,
Okay.
which is the biggest win in actual fact.
Okay. And then there's another term that I've heard, XTEM. So that I believe is related somehow.
Yes.
But again, that's why we're asking you as the expert, what's the difference between XTEM and what does the X stand for?
The X is not something standard in cybersecurity. We just add to make it sound cooler. It actually stands for Extended Threat Exposure Management.
Okay.
And throughout last year, from Dwayne's chat last year, what we've noticed is can't just jump in and do CTEM immediately. You first need to prepare your environment, know what is everything, what's going on in your environment, from dark web analysis, clear web analysis, the digital footprint, all the affiliated domains, third parties, if you think about supply chain attacks. What we've noticed is you can't just jump into CTEM. There needs to be a form of a preparation. I can almost look at it as a readiness assessment for CTEM. So we call it an extended threat exposure management, which is seen as the baseline assessment for preparing to converting to CTEM. And I think the main component there is see it as an assessment to prepare you. The outcome there or the output should be an exposure management program, looking at a long-term evaluation or improvement plan. We used to call it a tactical cyber improvement plan, but the term now talked about exposure management. So in exposure management program, looking at basically going back to your business units and understanding what is business critical, what is our risk appetite, and then from there, identify the assets related to those concerns to the business owners, and then that is your focus. The CTEM is supposed to lift, administrate all unnecessary investigations of events, because now you know which assets are critical to the environment, and from there you can focus on those events. So it actually prioritizes events, and technology these days help you triage that automatically. Okay, but I know Guardian, we build it towards that, so like you focus business critical first.
Okay, and then XTEM, CTEM, is that for everyone, or is it for maybe the larger corporates? Is it for particular types of organizations, maybe financial services? How limited or how unlimited is it? Who should be looking at it?
I think everyone should be looking at it, and I think what we're trying to do here today is just bring awareness to this. So CTEM is still fairly new. A lot of people are trying to do it. Misconception about CTEM is people think it's just a vulnerability scan, which unfortunately it's not only that, it's a small component of that. So yeah, just bring awareness to XTEM for other companies, and anyone can do it. It's about having the right tools, having the right people in your environment, almost like having the knowledge. And the test I like to use is, if you have an electrical job at your house, do you have the right tools and do you have the knowledge to do it? So it's, for example, how would you test if a wire is live, like this or like this?
I was always taught never to grab the wire, but I like to test with the back of your hand.
No, you use a voltmeter. So it's having the knowledge.
That's why my hair stands up sometimes.
And that's basically, it's just having the knowledge on what you need to do and following the basic principles. And I think the change there is to not see this as a sales pitch or it's a one software solution. It should be seen as a program.
Okay.
It's a long-term program that you need to follow, just like audits and all of those things. As you prepare for audits, CTEM should help you prepare you should always look at it as a preparation for it.
So I know CTEM is it's a key part of what Snode, or the way Snode operates. But do you, if it's a program, what do you get out of it? Like, we call Snode in to help us with CTEM, or is it Snode's preaching CTEM because you believe that's the best way and your products kind of work in synchronicity with that?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. We've changed, over the years, we've been building this technology and the services around it to support it. I'm not going to go into much depth in all the services. Like I said, I'm just an engineer. I'm not a salesperson.
Okay.
But essentially, we built it towards automating, and I think our main goal was to alleviate some of the pressure that IT teams these days face. As we talked before, there is a skills shortage in South Africa for this. So what we're trying to do is just lift that effort or stress from people. So by blocking stuff overnight, quarantining them so that the IT guys don't have to wake up in the mornings. But yeah, I think we do a bit of both. We do the XTEM assessment, but I'm not saying we're the only ones to do it. And I think I'm urging all the cybersecurity companies to start looking at that and converting to a CTEM, because waiting for an annual pen test just doesn't cut it anymore. Anything can happen in 12 months from each pen test.
Sure. Okay. And if an organization was to start on CTEM, they've watched the video, they say, I like what Sebastian is selling, even though he's not selling it.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them? What are their first steps to kind of start on this journey?
Yeah. Sorry. And actually touching to your previous question. Sorry about that. I think it starts with doing the assessment against your organization. And the only way I can give advice there is to look at your organization from a threat actor or hacker's perspective.
Okay.
Look at your organization as if you want to attack it. We always like to use the example of, if you buy a house or you're planning on building security around your house, fences, all those things, look at how you would want to break in. Look at everything from LinkedIn posts or those linked directly to Instagram open accounts. Like, when you start educating our users, because they are the first line of defense. But yeah, it's literally just looking at your organization from a hacker's perspective. What would you want to steal? What would entice you essentially to want to attack or hack into a company client?
Okay. And you've done a great job selling it to the technical team, but how would a CISO or a kind of the security team sell it to the business? Like, if someone's saying, what are you doing about security? And they say, well, we've got this great philosophy, this great program, CTEM. explain it to me in business value.
Okay, business value. If I can tell any CEO now, is like ask your CISO, your information security officer, what are our weak points? How would you have attacked us if you were a hacker and you really wanted to target us? And why would you want to target us? What is the motivation behind that? What was the rest of?
How do you sell it to the business? Like the business values?
Yes. So in essence, the XTEM is assessment. So that's the baseline.
Okay.
So look at that as your snapshot in that time. So from there, you want to start looking at metrics, and the CTEM would be your live view of the XTEM. So continuously. So you've got your baseline, you know what you don't know, and now you need to continuously improve on that. So getting the metrics, getting shorter mean time to respond, mean time to contain. And I think the main win for CTEM is reduced incident response procedure timelines, all of those things. So quicker to respond, quicker to act, quicker to contain. So if a threat does materialize, you are quick to respond and quick to mitigate that.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess you're, from a business point of view, you're kind of doing the audits, you're doing the compliance, you're kind of looking at the environment and making sure things are as safe as they potentially can be.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's like not saying the CTEM is going to completely make you untouchable, but I think it does help get the metrics. And if you are proactive about it, that's the whole point of this.
Okay. And we talked about XTEM, we talked about CTEM. What is next TEM? Like, where are we going next? Or is CTEM, XTEM, is that the philosophy that will remain in place forever?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's going to all fall under the umbrella of exposure management. So what are you exposing to the internet? I think a lot of terms, zero trust, and AI coming into play, access controllers like geofencing, all of those things. I think we're starting to move as an industry to understand how do we limit that attack surface. So again, a small component of CTEM. And yeah, I think, yeah. Sorry.
So I think, obviously AI is going to come into this in the future. I think, the hackers are going to get smarter, but I guess if it's continuous, then you're always staying on your game. You're always kind of looking at what's changing around your environment.
Yeah.
Just have to cross your fingers. But I'm sure it's more to it than that. Cool. Okay, Sebastian, that's been very insightful. Thank you very much. That's been Sebastian Erasmus from Snode Technologies. Please stay with us. We'll have some interviews back in a few moments.